Hey everybody out there in the internet world, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. It's the normal time where we usually do our comic reviews. Joe has a book this week, Mike has a book this week, I have tons of books this week, Amber had a book this week, but Amber's not here this week for this episode. You can also notice the background has changed a bit. I'm sorry Mike, I'm moving the chair over. I've decided to move my arc reactor into the picture.
We haven't seen that in a while.
Finally, because it's just sitting on the shelf right now. So I don't like that. I wanted to display it. So it's a small prop. It's movable. So I've decided to move it in between Sentinel and Swamp Thing. So we have 4 things displaying now in the background instead of just the 3. I'm trying to get it to... Is it facing straight? Mm-hmm. Okay. Old comic book of the week. You know there's always at least one I get in every lot. Is Green Lantern Volume 2, number 81. This was the actual funeral for Hal Jordan. I got the limited edition one where the green is more of a shiny and all the words are embossed out. It's a really beautiful cover. Pays homage to the Superman cover where they did his funeral, which is kind of ironic because Superman's in this funeral. And Mike, you can come in front now. We're done with showing off the background. I'm sorry if you guys can't see anything in the background anymore. Yeah, I don't think Mike is going to block too much, but you guys know what the arc reactor looks like and stuff like that.
Review on it.
Yeah, so it's background. It's all for background to give like the effect of a comic review.
Yeah.
Now somebody holds that under the table. That's our timer.
So what do we got?
We got a lot this week. We are in November. You made sure because the camera looks a little turned. Are you sure? Because I don't. You sure?
You want to go look again?
Yeah, make triple sure because the camera wasn't as turned as it was before.
Yeah, people want
to make sure.
Problems before getting it set up.
Yeah, it's good. Just they could see.
It's fine.
Okay. Okay. So the comic books that were released this week were released on November 23rd, 2011, the second to last week of November. There were 5 Wednesdays this month. I know I said that next week I was not going to do a comic review. However, I did the ordering, and it turns out there's 5 comic books. Granted, one is old. Doesn't matter. I will be doing a full-fledged comic review then. Regardless, it is going to be short, and one book is independent. One book me and Joe are reading. Another book is a Marvel, and I think that's about it. Except maybe I think there's a preview book also. It's doable, it's workable, and we're going to work with it. I'm going to keep the review going. I might grab a few oldies and put some oldies in there too. So let's kickstart this week with the only independent comic. I like what they did with this book because you guys aren't going to see it on camera. Locke and Key one-shot guide to the known keys. As you guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Locke and Key, the 5th story is on a uber delay. I've been waiting for issue 3 to come out now for about a month and a half. They have not released it yet. Every time I go on Midtown, they keep saying it's coming out the following week. I guess this is to appease the fans a bit because obviously they're having some backup. Let me see if I can take it out. I don't know if you guys are going to get to see it, but the cover is kind of like the hardcover books where the front, I'm going to try to get the light on it, where the front is shiny and the lettering is, no, not the lettering, just the keys and the air, what do you call it, the balloon?
Yeah.
Hot air
balloon, thank you. Lost it. Hot air balloon are shiny and the rest of the book is a regular, this is a regular cover by the way also. Basically, there's only one story in this book, and it takes place back in 1912, and it's the past Locke family, and we learn of a key which unlocks the moon.
The moon.
And when you're behind the moon, nothing bad can happen to you. So if you're sick or ill, you can stay behind the moon and you'll be fine, apparently.
So what you're saying is that the moon is the source of a cure or something?
Basically, this boy's having seizures, and the father has to stay up late. The boy in this book is a young Locke child, and he has seizures and stuff like that all the time, and the father has to stay up every night or else he's afraid the child will die. But when he opens up the moon and puts the child inside, the boy won't have seizures anymore, there won't be any more pain for the child, and so he stays behind the moon. What does this mean for the present-day Locke family? We won't know till later on. However, after that story, which is a very nice story, by the way, they do what they've been doing in back of all the hardcover books, giving you a complete guide. So if you haven't bought the hardcover books, you get, yeah, exactly. They're giving you all the keys in this comic book. I've got the hardcover, so most of these keys have been covered.
I wish that I could get the everywhere key. Everyday key.
Then they have some artist artwork in the back.
Nice.
And in the very end, I kind of find this ironic. Kinsey's comic. Kinsey, in this comic book, this guy comes into a comic book store and he's like, I'm new to comics, and he's looking for a certain particular comic, but the comic vendor cuts him off and says, have you read Locke and Key? It's pretty much the best comic ever. And then she explains what the comic is and how there's 4 books out now. This sounds very familiar because I've done this to I've mentioned this to several people who want to get into comics. And then the classic line, and I don't know how IDW got away with this one, but I guess they did. The guy goes, I was actually just looking for that new Justice League. And she goes, oh, it's over there. You don't know how many times people that are new to comic books come to me and they're like, what comics would you recommend? I'd recommend a lot, but Locke and Key would definitely be one of them. And they'd be like, yeah, but what about DC? I heard they relaunched with Justice League. How about that? So that was kind of funny how that comic is so close to what goes on when newer readers come and message me, and I usually recommend independent books before I recommend the big 2, and they're like, but I heard Justice League is new, and it's like, yeah, they did relaunch that too. There is that. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to recommend anything in DC other than Swamp Thing, Animal Man, JLI, and a couple of other titles, because a lot of them, first of all, I'm just jumping into, and some of them I'm still debating whether I should recommend them or not. Batman, Green Lantern, of course I'll recommend those, the ones that stayed in continuity, sort of, but I can't recommend anything
great
new.
start for comic. I think
definitely. You know, I thought I was going to say Image is my favorite independent, but IDW with Locke and Key, Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, comic book friendly.
Very good.
Very good story arcs.
Very nice.
Even Darkwing Duck, right?
So,
no, that was
Boom. Oh, Boom, Boom, right, Boom, Boom.
But it's a really good side story. If you need to appease your Locke and Key craving, because we all know that issue 3 is uber late, this will definitely appease it. It's a nice little side story. 2 one-shots I want to throw out there. I did finally get my hands on Avengers Origin Luke Cage, which was really fun to read. The artwork was really great. It's his origin, how he got his powers, and how he went from being basically a criminal to a superhero. Really nice.
That's a good backstory.
And this week's one-shot, which is Avengers Origins, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver, which actually takes, it shows their origin a bit and how they met up with the Avengers. Since I've been getting every single one right along, I did cave next week, and this is why there's actually an extra book next week. Along with next week's Secret Origin, Avengers Origin, I got Ant-Man and Wasp. Even though the artwork is terrible, the artwork is really good in this book, by the way. Even though the artwork is terrible in Ant-Man and Wasp, if I'm only going to miss one, might as well grab it anyway, just to have the full run of the series. Even though they're all one-shots.
It's better to have them all and miss one, even if it's little.
Even though these are one-shots. Even though these are one-shots, they all stick to the same series. It's just different superheroes. I would absolutely say if you're interested in seeing some background stories on your favorite superheroes, you don't know when yours is coming. Next week's, I've been looking forward to for a while, so I'm looking forward to reading next week's. I was looking forward to this one also. Luke Cage was really a pleasant surprise. I wasn't thinking I was going to like it, but it was really good. So far, all the Avengers Origin books have been really, really good. I think they're getting into the main characters, though, starting next week.
And plus leading up to the movie next year as well.
Something that was iffy this month, at least this issue, Daken Dark Wolverine, number 17. It was alright. Keel is under the influence of heat and the guy that's given her the heat pills. So she's basically brainwashed against Daken, and she sends the cops after him. She just wants to see him dead, because I guess if he dies, the guy's going to give her like an unending amount of heat pills. Daken escapes by the skin of his teeth. His healing factor is still... And he finally gets some heat pills towards the middle of this book, and he wants to know what's in the heat pills, why they're so addictive, and if there's a way basically to what's in them. He just wants to know what's in them, and when he finds out, this is where Amber would have actually been good. He finds out that a ingredient in these pills is the blood from somebody from the Pride. And for those of you who know Amber, when she started on my comic reviews, all she did was Runaways. And Runaways were the children of the Pride. Thus why it says featuring the Runaways, because guess where Daken goes? To the Runaways!
Oh.
And they show up on the last page, and they're going to be guest starring in the next episode, or they're going to help him figure out about the heat pills in the next issue, and then it's going to be Daken versus... I can't remember the guy's name at the moment, but he's going up against him, and then we're leading into the final story arc for Daken Dark Wolverine. I guess I'll show what the... I don't know if they're going to even be in the next issue, so I might as well show. Here you go. Here are the Runaways. And basically he's like, I forgot what the question was. Answer... his question was, how does one kill a member of the Pride? And then he says, answer to the earlier question, I don't know, but I hear about some kids who do, and that's why he's going to the Runaways. Interesting, but at the same time, it was a slow... It was kill Daken, Daken escapes. And now Daken is... healing, and he wants to find out about the heat pills. He finds out about it, goes to the Runaways. Sums up the whole book. I don't know. I have a feeling though that the action is definitely going to pick up in the next issue, and I'm looking forward to it.
It looks that way.
Jumping back into a series, and I am looking into the hardcover of the first couple of issues of this Invincible Iron Man 510. Mind you guys, this was renumbered. The Invincible Iron Man did not reach 510 issues. Originally, I believe I dropped this in issue 40 somewhat.
Oh wow.
And then they renumbered it back to their original number. Yeah, no, they renumbered it. They put back the original number, people. So relax. I didn't miss out on like 400 and somewhat issues. I'm actually glad I repicked this up. This next story looks really interesting. It starts off where Tony Stark is destroying... I know Daken, Howlett, Chris was talking about this. It starts off where Tony Stark is destroying the hammers he created, along with his suit from Fear itself. And now he's reacclimating back into the world. He goes to an AA meeting because we all know Tony Stark has a drinking problem. He started drinking again at Asgard to get Odin's attention. And then... he takes the dwarf. Why do I forget his name? Mind you guys, I just read these within the past 4 hours, so things are gonna slip my mind because this is what happens. Split lip, they call him. They call him Split Lip. And they go to the AA meeting, and he's like, I drink until I want to die, and I don't want to die anymore. Tony Stark gets an SOS. There's in his little iPod thingamajigger, and he leaves Split Lip there, and he runs off as Iron Man and stops these people. But there's a whole to-do with it. While somewhere else, Mandarin, and I forget the other guy's name now. Wow, I'm doing great today.
Hey, you got a lot of books and a lot of names to remember.
It's not easy to remember all names.
Zeke Stain. I have no idea who Zeke Stain is, but he's working with Mandarin, and they're looking to take down Tony Stark. So after Iron Man stops these guys from stealing Stark Resilient stuff, one of them was implanted with some type of a bomb, and he explodes, and basically it jumps them back to Tony and Split Lip driving off somewhere. They see a damsel in distress on the road with a flat tire. Spoiler alert, it wasn't somebody stuck on the road. She subpoenaed Tony Stark for his suit's records over the past, I think it was 2 weeks. And he knows that if he shows that, it's going to show that he did get drunk. during that time, because that was during the Fear Itself thing that went on, and that's going to make him look bad, like he's drinking in the suit, and he's unfit to be Iron Man. So that's the dilemma they leave you off with. And then Mandarin actually put an article out that Iron Man was drunk, and they showed him crashing into the ground, which actually wasn't because he was drunk, it was because his suit was nullified, so to speak, and kind of crashed on him for a second. So it looks really good.
Can you remind me why he drinks?
He was an alcoholic. That was a thing with Iron Man, but he overcame it.
I never would have expected that he would.
He was an alcoholic.
It's hard to overcome.
He overcame it, though.
I mean, it's just weird.
So he fell back into it.
No, he didn't fall back into it.
Oh.
In this book, he's actually saying, I'm not gonna think about being sober tomorrow. I'm gonna just think about not drinking today.
Oh, okay.
So he's he did drink, and he's still forcing himself in his mind. He's psyching himself out of drinking because now it's on his mind again.
Oh, that's what I would say.
So he's not getting drunk at this moment, and he's thinking not to, and he's worried. And we'll see what happens next when he gets his peanut for his. That was
nice for you.
That was a bitch. I swear. I wanted to slap her. I would have slapped her with my Iron Man slap of fury. Wolverine and the X-Men #2. Lots of very interesting stuff here. I will say this: the artwork was a bit messy. There were times where I'm like, where am I supposed to be looking? This is not kosher. I'll give an example of it if I can find a page where it's the most messy. There was a page where I was looking and I couldn't really figure out. Like, see here, you really. It's like a little clustery at times, and I mean, actually this was a page I kept going. Spoiler here: Iceman actually kisses Kitty Pryde. He actually learns how to manipulate ice a bit more. You learn a little bit deeper into Iceman's powers here, like a new thing he can do with his powers. Krakoa.
Yeah, Krakoa.
Is then there's some Frankenstein monsters that the Hellfire Club release on the school, and this kid wants all these people scarred. That's all he wants, and this whole book is a big fight against the X-Men, Wolverine, and the Frankenstein monsters. Bobby Drake takes him out with his new Iceman power, and then Krakoa shows up, and it turns out, guess what? This Kid Omega, is the only one that can stop him. And he doesn't want to. He says, I'm perfectly fine sitting here doing nothing.
Talk about this generation.
He doesn't look like he's good.
So that's where they leave you off in this book. I am not a huge fan of Chris Bachalo's art. I will say that. So that kind of hurts this book for me just a little bit. But this is Wolverine and the X-Men, and I do love it. I just wish Marvel would stop trying to destroy this book before it even hits, before it really takes a run. Let it ride for a bit before you try to drag it into the ground. But I'm liking it. I know at some point the artwork is going to change, because artists usually stick around only for like, what, 12 issues max, and then they move on.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking 10 more issues to go. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. The artwork just takes getting used to, but the story is really good. I am coming back for the next issue, definitely. Wolverine is just getting... He opens his school up, and this kid shows up, and boom, he just sends Frankenstein monsters, Krakoa, and everybody after this school to destroy it and scar all the students in it. He doesn't want to kill anybody. Oh, that's nice. I just want to scar everybody and have them have burns and scars and shit. If Wolverine doesn't kill this kid, or maim this kid, or scar this kid, before this, everything is let out, I swear.
Wasn't that the kid, the one I talked about?
Somebody's got to take this kid out.
About the mansion? Wasn't that the kid you were talking about? The one with the mansion? Oh, wow. I really hope he does kill him.
I hope. Not kill.
Well, not kill. Just
chop off his penis or something.
Well, that would be a little,
Alright, now,
yeah,
I know I have...
Too far.
I know I have about a little less than 10 minutes left before we have to go into the next part. And this is the last Marvel book. Fantastic Four 600, a 100-page 50th anniversary 600th issue extravaganza.
Wow, that's
real.
And what a way to blow $8.
Really?
This entire book is a lead-up.
First thing I heard when
Nothing.
A lead-up to what?
Let me explain. Nothing gets solved in this book. Nothing gets solved in this
pages.
book.
Wow,
100 pages of several lead-ups. 100 pages. I'll tell you right now, there is how many stories in this? Let's see. Maybe by the end of the book it says. I know they give a rundown of how many stories are in here. Let's see. How many stories are in this cluster freaking
mess?
This mess. Well, it's part 1 of Forever, so you had to know that it wasn't a
That was the first thing you were talking about. I got over talking to them about this.
Yeah.
You were like so disappointed.
Okay, they're not going to give chapter numbers, are they? Let's say there's about 4 stories in here, and I'll give you the rundown right now. First story is, first of all, they give you a huge splash on everything that they're gonna show in this book. That's how it starts up. That's how it's gonna start up. Then it goes into the first story, where it's the FF and the Avengers versus the Kree, who's attacking all of New York City. That's the first story, and they leave it off basically with the Baxter Building being attacked, and Spidey tells Reed he'll go and save the kids. Val hits this emergency button that teleports away the place where they're at in the Baxter Building to someplace safe. But Spidey goes anyway to see what's going on. It turns out that the bugs are trying to break back into the negative zone again.
Wow.
And then it's left off with that picture that everybody by now should have seen on CBR, where the portal opens and Annihilus is at the mercy of Johnny Storm. So Johnny's alive! Now here's where your $8 really went into, and that's where it's ended. That's the first story. First story's done. It got the Fantastic Four, the FF symbol for the end.
That's one way.
New story. Next story. It's the whole story on what happened to Johnny Storm after he went Nova. Remember 11 months back, maybe 12, dare I say 12, 13 months back, where it was the last issue of FF, and I said you saw everybody jumping on top of Johnny, but you didn't see him die? I was right. Sort of. Turns out, Johnny didn't die until this little shit decided to split him in half, but spoiler, the negative zone has a way of bringing people back, and I'm not showing it because it is disgusting and effed up.
Oh.
No, wow.
Oh, what the?
That's how they bring him back.
Wow.
So he dies several times, and they use this method on him several times throughout his entire story. So then, basically, the story ends, this story ends where the previous story ends, with him getting, and I'm going to spoil another thing here, with him getting the, what's it called, the cosmic control rod, and the door opening, he says open the gate, and that's where this story ends. So basically, we now have the positive zone story and what happened to Johnny and the negative zone side of the story. Then we go into another story, all about the Inhumans, and how they're going to, they're gonna move, they're leaving tomorrow for Earth. And it's a very short story, actually, and that's it. Then we go to another story, where Sue and Reed, a while back, days ago, visited Galactus, and they're talking about the Ark. And this story ends very fast. Then we're left with one last story with Franklin Richards, which I agree with you, Captain Cummings, would have been a lot better if the artwork was better. This artwork is definitely a lot worse than the story I was telling you about. So, yeah, and that's the end of the book. Coming soon, FF12, which is going to follow the children, and Fantastic Four 601, which is Forever Part 2. So, out of all those books, the first 2 stories led to the exact same ending. The Inhumans are going to Earth, so that's 3 stories. The 4th one was about Galactus and gives another teaser for another future story. And the last one's with Franklin.
Where does this story actually, like,
I don't know.
go?
It jumps around.
Yeah, it jumps from one thing to another.
Basically, it's $8. You pay $2 per story. It's 100 pages of lead up. So those 11 issues of FF led up to another lead up. What? Now here's the one reason. Now here's the one reason why I will be picking up 601.
Okay.
Fantastic Four is staying at $2.99. That's one of the cheapest Marvel books out there. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and finish off forever. If forever sucks, then that's where the comic is going. Forever into my box and never coming out again. So I'm going to finish off Forever. Is this issue worth $8? Hell no. Not even, no. No. It's a lead up. If you want to, you know what this, they're charging you $8 to show you how, that they're showing you that Johnny Storm is back, and then they're showing you how they brought him back. They're explaining the backstory.
And that's not a great way of how they explain
100 pages, I mean...
$8.
Wow.
$8 for Johnny returning to the Fantastic Four, and what happened to Johnny from issue 588, I believe it was, the last issue of Fantastic Four, a year ago, to now.
It's not even interesting.
Really? Seriously? No.
Well, with a lot of no's, I could tell that that's something people shouldn't be digging
at
on.
least 10, not more.
That's definitely no.
Yeah. So maybe we should.
So basically, issues 589 through to 600 to 599 were FF 1 through 12. Wrap that around your brain, guys. And from now on, FF is continuing on its own, and Fantastic Four is continuing on. I have a feeling they're going to somehow screw around with this and go back to 589 and go all the way to 600. I don't know how. I don't know how, but they're going to do that. So that was this. I know on Black Friday this went on sale for like $4.99, and congratulations to whoever got this. I know I was talking to Spidey last night and somebody commented his video about that. Congrats, you got it for $4.99. I paid about $7 and change, and if you see this for full price, if you want to see how they brought Johnny back and the nice artwork and read the story about Johnny and what happened in the positive and negative universe and see a bunch of lead-ups, get this book. If you don't want a bunch of lead-ups, don't. Is it worth $8? This is your prime example of Marvel being greedy. But, however, it is the first part of Forever, so if you find it cheap, grab it. If you find it for $8 and you have $8 that you want to invest in Fantastic Four 600, go right ahead. I won't stop you. I feel like I was gypped. I wanted to see the end to something, and all I got was a bunch more of to be continues. And Johnny's back. That's about it. So I paid $8 to see Johnny Storm is back, but none of the issues are concluded yet, and we've got a bunch of questions that need to be answered in the future. So, up to you guys. Great art in most of the stories, and great cover, definitely. Okay, guys, we went through Marvel. The biggest book from Marvel, and the rest. Next will be all DC, and that's where your book is in, and Mike's book is in, and the last of another book is in. So, see you guys in the next part.
See you later.